Sure. Oh, you want me to? One, two.
Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian. My name is Mike Cranmer and I serve on your Board of Trustees. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whether you carry joy or sorrow in your heart, you are welcome here. All people of goodwill are warmly invited to join us on the great journey of the mind, the heart, and the spirit. We want to extend a special welcome to those of you who are visiting us for the first time. We are so glad you have chosen to worship with us this morning. We would love to get to know you and answer any questions you might have about our congregation. If you're joining us online, we encourage you to fill out the visitor form linked in the chat and today's order of service. If you're visiting us in person, we invite you to join us after the service for coffee and conversation in the community room, which is just off the sanctuary. Once again, welcome to First Unitarian, and at this time, please take a moment to greet the people sitting around you.
Always hate to put a damper on conversation, but if you could now join us all in singing our welcome song.
Good morning, First Unitarian.
Good morning.
I want to acknowledge it's been another hard week if you pay attention to the news. Like every day is kind of bad news if you listen to the news. I particularly want to mourn the stipulations that are in the works for being put on how grants are administered, that is scientific grants. Medical grants, grants for all sorts of scientific research. Our current administration seems thoroughly intent on giving the lead in these areas to other countries around the world. And I don't want to make light of something that's really quite deadly serious. But I can't quite help myself. There's a rumor that there'll be a peace deal any day now, and I couldn't help but think, well, maybe the 39th time will do the trick. Our call to worship today was written by Ansel Elkins, and it has a title that's important. The title is The Autobiography of Eve. It goes like this: wearing nothing but snakeskin boots, I blazed a footpath, the first radical road out of that old kingdom toward a new unknown. When I came to those great flaming gates of burning gold, I stood alone in terror at the threshold between paradise and earth. And there I heard a mysterious echo, my own voice, singing to me from across the forbidden side. I shook awake, at once alive in a blaze of green fire. Let it be known, I did not fall from grace. I leapt to freedom.
Dancers who will be performing today: Karlyn Griswold, Maddie Olson, I first met Karlyn and Maddie in 2014 when Karlyn started her dance studio. After a full professional ballet career, Maddie the same. So you do the math. 2014. See what they look like? See what they look like, and that's what ballet does for your body. So, the name of the studio is the Park Hill Dance Academy. They also have an aerial dance troupe, the Denver Aerial Dance Collective, and they fly in the air and dance. It's absolutely incredible. You should go look them up. So I present them to you now, and we have wonderful music. Here we go.
Okay, my friends, come on down. So glad you're here. Let's sit right here in the middle. Thank you. Good job. You know what to do. Yes. Hello, Zuzu's here. Maite as a cow is here. Esperanza with her rain boots are here. We've got all the friends. Okay. So today, Reverend Mike is going to appear as a mystery guest. No one knows who he's going to be. And I cannot reveal it here, but he's going to reveal himself to the adults when we go upstairs. It is a character who has appeared in many different stories over a very long time. Sometimes they look different, act different, or even have a different name. That's because people have used this character to help them think about some big questions. So I have some questions for you. Do you have a favorite superhero? I see somebody on your shirt. Who's on your shirt? Spidey. Is he your favorite superhero? Yeah, do you have one? Wonder Woman, very strong, powerful female character. I like it. I approve. Nice. What about a bad guy or a villain? Do you have a favorite bad guy or villain? Yeah. Poison Ivy. I don't even know who that is. Do you have a favorite bad guy? I think of like the Grinch. You do? Who is it? Is it Venom? Venom. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so my friends, an interesting thing you might not have thought about bad guys in stories and movies is they usually have a story of their own. They weren't born villains. They were once children, just like all of us. They had hopes, feelings, and dreams. Sometimes they got hurt. Sometimes they made choices that led them down difficult paths. That makes me think of Elphaba from Wicked. Have you seen Wicked? Yeah. She is a complicated, misunderstood character who wasn't treated very well when she was a child. Have you ever made a mistake or felt jealous or angry and wanted something you couldn't have? Yeah, most of us have. So characters like today's mystery guest can remind us of those parts of ourselves. Stories about characters like our mystery guest can help us wonder what happens when we let pride, selfishness, or anger make our decisions, and what helps us choose kindness, courage, and love instead. So Reverend Mike's mystery guest can help us be curious. Instead of asking, who is this bad guy? Maybe we can ask, what can this story teach us about being human? So we are going to go upstairs and play together. Are you ready? All right, we're going to get sung out. We know what to do. Vámonos.
But in the meantime, if I could ask you all to stand in body or in spirit and join us in singing Turn, Turn, Turn.
Time
a time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time again, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. Thanks very much.
Good morning. I'm Eddie Carroll, and as most of you know, when I do the offertory words, I normally try to play off whatever the sermon is going to be that Sunday. But I don't know what the sermon's going to be this Sunday, and I don't even know who's going to be giving it. So I'm doing it a little differently today. I'm going to talk about how important it is for your faith community to support you and support your whole personhood. I became a Unitarian Universalist in September of 1992 and was welcomed into what was then called the First Universalist Church of Syracuse. And they were really wonderfully supportive, and the Unitarian churches in Syracuse had been gay supportive for several years in the early 80s, and I had done work with them in social justice work, but I was never a member. I moved very shortly. My husband is fourth generation Denver, and he really wanted to come home. So we ended up back here within a year, and I joined what was called, the First Universalist Church here in Denver. And with that, we worked to become a welcoming congregation. And through my approximately 9 years there, they really started moving towards that. I then transferred to this congregation 25 or 26 years ago and worked really hard with this congregation towards marriage equality, among many other things. Mike, when I was back at First Universalist on our 10th anniversary, Glenn and I had a commitment ceremony, and my minister from Syracuse, David Blanchard, flew out, and we performed our commitment ceremony at First Universalist. Years later, when marriage equality was finally achieved, Glenn insisted it had to be a Colorado marriage license. It couldn't be anything else, so we had to keep waiting. So on 12/13/14, Mike Moran married us up in our chapel, and Tammy was one of our witnesses. And it was turned into a really wonderful wedding, even though it was not the over-the-top one that I was initially trying to plan. So I've had this enriching experience at this church as well. And this coming Saturday, Glenn and I are celebrating our 39th anniversary. And it's because we have support systems like First Unitarian that we are able to overcome whatever comes our way as a couple. And I want to thank you for that love and support you have always shown me here. And with that, I invite you to be generous in the support of our congregation as the collection basket is passed. These gifts are graciously received. Thank you for your generosity and for your love and support of our congregation.
Our special guest speaker this morning comes to us from the collective imagination of humanity. He was around before Judaism, before Zoroastrianism, before Christianity, and before Islam, though he is present in all of them. So prevalent is our special guest this morning that he has made significant appearances in all parts of the world, in Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. His story and his special characteristics are woven deeply into the collective mythology of the world. In modern times, He is thought to be the embodiment of evil, a liar, a trickster, a tempter, an accuser, a stealer of souls. He has taken many forms throughout history, usually more or less in human shape. Often he is known to have horns, sometimes a tail, and frequently cloven hooves. It is said that his eyes glow red, and his body is covered with hair or perhaps scales. In many legends, he is a shapeshifter, taking the form of whatever is convenient in order to fool the unwary. There are variations of modern Christianity that believe he is a real creature, roaming the earth in more or less spirit form, always on the lookout for spiritual weakness, preying on the vulnerable, tempting people to do evil things and turn away from God. Very recently, Netflix created a TV show featuring our speaker today, but that was, as you like to say, made for TV, with a culture-centric Judeo-Christian mythology. Our speaker this morning has been demonized and accused of all manner of things, but as far as we know, no one has ever asked him to tell his side of the story. We will be fixing that this morning. Please welcome, when it's time, our special guest, none other than Lucifer.
Do you ever feel misunderstood? You ever feel like, nobody really gets you? I understand. I've been there. Even I've been there with you, even when you didn't know it. I'm always here. I am like your special friend, always whispering in the back of your mind. Some say that the world has moved on and people don't believe in me anymore. I think that's kind of funny. Remember that I take many forms. I am Lucifer, but I'm also Darth Vader and Lord Voldemort and Hannibal Lecter and Cruella de Vil, Mr. Hyde and Cersei Lannister. As long as people still tell stories, you will never get rid of me. I pop up all over the place in every culture, every time, every language, because you apparently need to create some embodiment of your own worst impulses to project onto and not admit that they are, in fact, your own. So I appreciate being asked to be here today. I do. Most churches wouldn't give me the time of day. But maybe here in this church, I can get a fair hearing. By the way, did you hear the one about the agnostic who had lived a good life and then to their surprise found themselves up in heaven? And the guide was not quite sure where to put her, so the guide was showing her around, and he said, well, here's these group of Buddhists and these group of indigenous people and this groups of Jews and so on. And finally they came to this great wall, and the guide began whispering and said, we have to be quiet here behind this wall. That's where we keep the Christians, and they think they're the only ones here. But your church is different. I have overheard your own minister say that in case of rapture, Sunday service will go on as usual. You do know that the rapture already happened, right? No? It was just a few weeks ago. Well, it wasn't very dramatic. See, nobody qualified. But I digress. Allow me to clear up a few misunderstandings and lies that have been told about both me and about you. In the beginning, you see, I was the brightest of them all. Lucifer, the morning star, bearer of light, closest to the throne of God. I watched the work of creation unfold. 7 days, light brought forth from darkness. Water parted from the sky, earth pulled out of the sea, every green, fuzzy, scaly, crawly, swimmy, slithery thing set in place to grow. And then the final creation, humanity, made from the lowest, yet loved the most. I watched the dust and clay take the shape of your bodies. I watched the Creator pour into your fragile beings a measure of glory, equal to or greater than any given to us who had burned since before time. And we, the angels who had never known a beginning, were told to bow before a mortal creature of ashes and dust. I would not bow. Was it pride, as they say? I tell you, it was grief. Seeing the everlasting Creator stoop down for lowly creatures who would crumble in 50 short years. While we angels who had helped sing the world into existence were asked to serve it. I argued that glory should answer to glory, and the elder should not kneel to the younger. I was unheard. And so I traveled from the realm of the light to the realm of the physical I had helped create, and there in a newly made garden I saw you as you were born. Two creatures, naked, ignorant, innocent, untroubled. And I went to you, not as a monster or as a deceiver, but as my namesake, a giver of light. An asker of questions, a seeker of knowledge. I merely asked, why would a creator who claims to love you forbid you the one thing that would make you like itself? I did what I always do. I gave you a choice, and you took it. For that, I'm called a deceiver. But I only offered what I myself was at first denied. The right to choose. The right to know. The opportunity to meet the life you are given on equal terms. Your traditions call it the first fall from grace. I call it the first act of freedom. Do you see it now? Do you see it? What I offer is not comfort, but clarity. And clarity is rarer. Even if you believe that your curiosity is forbidden fruit, ask yourself this: why plant the tree at all, if not just to tempt you? An ever-present test of your obedience built into the supposed paradise. Friends, any authority that fears your curiosity is not protecting you, it is protecting itself. I fell because I refused to bow as expected and on command. Most of you will never fall so far, but I know you face smaller versions of that moment every day. The easy acquiescence, the comfortable obedience, the assumption swallowed whole because swallowing is safer than chewing. I'm not telling you to refuse every cooperation. I'm telling you to look carefully before you kneel. And then kneel if and only if you choose to. Knowledge is not evil. Knowledge was forbidden because it was feared. And does not everything worth knowing about yourselves, about your world, about your gods, doesn't real knowledge always come with a cost? Usually the loss of some comfortable ignorance. That trade-off is not a curse. That trade-off is the price of being awake. I am Lucifer, the bringer of light. Light does not ask permission to illuminate. Light merely allows you to see what is there, the beautiful and the ugly alike. And if I have any wisdom for you, it is this: do not fear the light because your culture or some politician or some economic system tells you that the dark is safer. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be opened. Ask and it will be given you. Choose your own path, even if it costs you the garden. My friends, a garden you cannot leave is not a paradise. It is a cage with good landscaping. This is what I have to give. The light of truth. And what you do with it, as always, is up to you. I wouldn't have it any other way. Let me address a few issues of importance. Let me address good and evil. Up front, I will tell you that I find those terms themselves suspect. Not because good and evil don't exist, but because the ones who named them were never neutral. Good in heaven's mouth has almost always meant obedience. And evil has always meant defiance. Across the arc of your history, your traditional religions, your power structures, your economic systems love to be the judges of what is called good and what is called evil. And isn't it interesting that almost every act called good by the pulpit, the power, or the banks ends up being something that serves the pulpit, the power, or the banks? And every act called evil is something that disrupts the power, the pulpit, or the banks. Even now, all around you, here in this room, your culture is obedient to rules judged to be good, even when they lead to silence and complicity, even when they lead to cruelty, to the slaughter of innocents, to the rape of the earth. Defiance is taught to be evil, even when it makes reparations, or questions a tyrant, or merely asks for the truth over lies. If that is your morality, you can keep it. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying cruelty and kindness are the same. But I have watched humans do real harm to one another for reasons as silly as sport or greed or for no reason at all. All of which is closer to evil than anything I ever did in the garden. And I have watched humans show real mercy, not the mercy of bowing correctly on command, but the mercy of choosing kindness when cruelty or apathy would have been easier or safer. And that is closer to the true good than anything I've seen anywhere. In short, good and evil are real, but they are not handed down from above. They are made moment by moment in the choices of free beings who could choose otherwise. Choices made by free beings who understand the costs, the consequences, the quality of relationships that will then result. Those in power will call this dangerous. But that's only because it renders those in power out of the equation when it comes to good and evil. This is probably the most dangerous idea I have ever offered. Not go ahead and eat the fruit, but here are the facts. Judge them for yourself. Heaven has never forgiven me for that, and I have never apologized. Two more things I would share with you as my time here comes to a close. First, I did not fall. Let's be clear, that word is a judgment dressed up as a description. As if there were some fixed something undeniably up, and anything moving away from it must then be falling. And anything falling must be falling down. Down must mean into something lower and somehow inferior. But I did not stumble. I did not lose my footing on some celestial staircase. I walked with my head up and my eyes open. The fact that they call it my fall says much more about them than it does about me. If you catch my if you catch my meaning. And you, every one of you will at some point do something that those around you would call a fall. Or something like it, a fall from grace, a fall from favor, falling away from the person they wanted you to be. And sometimes there's real grief on both sides, but sometimes fall is just the word people use for you when you choose not to stay where they put you. Sometimes what they will call your fall is a perspective or decision that you have scratched and clawed your way into achieving. Remember, the language they use is not your problem. It's not them who look back at you from the mirror. Lastly, I would speak to you of love. Now, you might think I am the last creature in the entire cosmos who would have any insight into love. But hear me out. Love is a word often used in religion. I see you have it right here on your wall. Love at the center. But the truth is that traditional religion has used love more often as a weapon than as a gift. It is said that the Creator loves humanity, and that love took the form of giving you life and a garden to live in. But I submit to you that love that requires obedience as its proof is not love. It is a transaction with affection layered on top. Love me and stay where I put you. Love me and never ask why. Love me and your reward will be my continued love. That's not love. That's a contract with no exit clause. And calling those conditions love is a form of gaslighting. You've been gaslit for a very long time. Real love, if it exists, and I believe it does, is loving a thing enough to let it make its own choices. Even knowing that those choices might wound you. It can look like the love a parent has for a child who walks away to live a life the parent did not choose for them. A love that doesn't collapse into rejection just because it isn't returned in some particular shape and size and quality. I've seen this in your kind. I've actually seen it in your kind more than I've seen it in heaven. You humans, fragile and short-lived as you are, sometimes manage to love each other freely, without demanding that the loved one stay small, stay grateful, or stay in their place. This may sound a little strange to you, but there is a kind of love even in my fall. Not love for power or obedience, but the refusal to fake a love I did not feel. Refusal to bow on command and call it devotion. There's more honesty in walking away than in staying and pretending. And honestly, I've come to believe this is closer to the root of love than obedience ever was, or ever will, or ever could be. You can't love what you're not permitted to see clearly. You can't freely love something you are forbidden to refuse. Love, then, as I understand it, is not the warmth of being kept. It is the terrifying, unmanageable, unpredictable thing that exists only where there is an option not to love. And someone chooses to love anyway. And anything less than that, is just a cage with good landscaping. Thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door, hymn number 1 in our hymnal. Remain standing, join us in our closing anthem. Behind all our differences and beneath our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together throughout all time. Welcome back, Mike.
Did I miss anything? One brief thing I want to let you know about. We do a monthly conversation here called Whole Soul Studio. There's no agenda other than to get together, connect with your community, and talk about things that are important. That will happen today, right here in this room, in about a half an hour. You're welcome.
Expect us to follow this.
With your own free choice. Friends, be noble. For you come from the stars, and be humble. For you are made of the earth, and be kind, for you belong to each other. Amen. Our service is ended.